These are wood chips. They'll keep your feet clean and dry. You like the wood chips? You're making snow angel dogs. How are you doing now, Martin from Gardens for Life and Birdland Homestead? In this video I'm going to show you wood chips and how you can use them in the garden. I've made videos about this before, but I wanted to actually address, do wood chips rob the nitrogen from the soil underneath? Short answer, no. It's insignificant unless you put a good thick layer of these wood chips directly on your grass. Or even if you smother the grass first and then put on your wood chip layer, a good 4 to 6 inches of wood chips, you're better off to add some mushroom compost first. This is fresh mushroom compost. It needs to age for a while. You can see how it's a bit fresh and lumpy. So you might ask yourself, how do you know the wood chips don't rob the nitrogen from the soil below? Well, first of all, we know because we can see our plants. These are Jerusalem artichokes here in the background, and they've been planted here for 6 years now. And we started off with about a 5-inch layer of mushroom compost, about 12 centimeters, and we added a generous 6-inch layer of wood chips, pure Leylandii wood chips, right on top 6 years ago. You can see some of the videos, I linked to them at the end. These plants are nitrogen pigs, so they eat loads of nitrogen. They have no signs of deficiencies at all. So they've been grown here year after year. I've had to add nothing to them at all. On the other side, you can see our no-dig garden. This was only established 1.5 years now. So last year, early summer, I started this garden and we put down some mushroom compost after smothering the grass. And you can see here it is highly productive, and it has turned into a bit of a jungle this time of year. But here we did not put down any wood chips, and you can see here some of our own plants are actually going to seed, and there's the odd thistle in there too, so we'll have to take care of it after a while. But we could just add wood chips on top after the first year or even after the second year. However, in most of the gardens here I don't need to add wood chips, as in add it everywhere in the grow space. Instead, we just practice canopy gardening, where we just plant our perennials really densely so that they fill out the garden by midsummer every year, and that way there is less chance of the weeds taking over. Still have to do a little bit of weeding. If you want to go as low maintenance as possible, you can go with the forest garden model, which means you're mimicking a forest floor, so you're actually turning the soil life composition from a bacteria-based soil with nitrogen and compost into a more carbon-based soil, which means fungi. So woody plants actually just perform a little better in that type of an environment. And we don't want to grow too many woody plants. We also want to grow some leafy greens as well, like the comfrey, like kale, even some of these kind of plants like the horseradish. Take a look at that. Super healthy, super lush, and you can see lots of other bits and pieces in the background. Nevertheless, adding an entire wood chip layer to your garden or to a section of your garden lowers the maintenance, and it feeds the soil life slowly, and it acts as a blanket. In the summer it'll stop evaporation, so you never ever have to water it, and the soil doesn't dry out underneath. But in the winter time, the soil life is also protected from the cold, from the freezing temperatures, and therefore the soil life is more active, and it stays active for about a month longer in our experience, both at the start of the growing season and at the tail end of the growing season as well. So adding wood chips to your garden is good if you're growing lots of trees, berry bushes, rhubarb, that type of thing would be okay to grow. Some of the perennials are fine too, but again, if you're growing herbaceous perennials, I would suggest the leafy greens, maybe keep those in a garden bed or in a grow space where you have just a no dig bed, just no wood chips everywhere, just compost cover is all. So over here I've done a little something here. I've added some wood chips. You can add a thin layer of wood chips too on top of compost, but you can barely see the little plants here. There's a bronze fennel, some potato onions and some skirret grown here. That garden bed here was only planted 2 weeks ago now, but I'm sure by the end of the growing season or even in a month or two it'll be completely filled out like it is here. Again, for the paths, the wood chips are great and they don't rob nitrogen much, but if you are going to add them to your entire grow space, I would suggest adding a layer of mushroom compost first. I'll show you the mushroom compost here. This is well matured. This is over a year old now. And take a look at this lovely crumbly black stuff. It does the job very well. You can also add comfrey. You can either harvest the leaves fresh or you can get the dried product, which we'll make available on our website shortly. It's to make compost tea and add liquid fertilizer to water your plants with, which is really handy because it adds all kinds of minerals and plenty of nitrogen to your soil. You can see having an old wood chip pile here in the middle. I'm going to use that, and as we use it up we'll have space, and it adds a little bit of an owl clearing in the forest garden, and it's lovely to have a little bit of space. You get a bit more sunlight, you can have a little area to sit down and just maybe even plant a few bits, but mainly just cuttings I would grow here, like willow or elder cuttings. We have loads of varieties of those available now on our website, like these flaming willows here. We've got some black willows, burgundy, and loads of different elder cuttings as well. If you get wood chips delivered in the summer, especially when it's warm, you can inoculate wood chips with mycelium. So it's like the roots of the mushroom. It's a wine cap mushroom, King Stropharia, and it's a culinary mushroom. It's really nice to eat. And once you add the spores or the mycelium to your wood chip pile early on, while they're still fresh, up to a month old, but you want to add them as fresh as possible, just to make sure that no other fungi have settled in your wood chips, and then they will also produce some food for you on your paths. So I like growing wine cap because it's the easiest one to grow. If you're interested in doing so, take a look at the video. I'll link at the end here. This is a garden that was set up just with a good thick layer of mushroom compost, and you can see that down below here. There's only compost here, no wood chips. The only wood chips I've got here is on the path, and there's actually figwort. It's getting huge. Some of these plants that I'm growing this year for the first time from seed, especially the wildflowers, I haven't seen them all full size yet, and this one smells lovely when you rub the leaf. And these gardens here haven't been covered with wood chips, so as I said, they're only no-dig gardens, and you can see how green and lush they are. There's very few woody plants in here. So after a while we'll probably transition these gardens and reduce weed pressure, as I like to call it, by simply adding a wood chip layer to reduce maintenance. And we'll probably add some more woody components to the system then. This is the lemon scented geranium. I have made that one available on the website today. Oh geez, it's the most wonderful smell. I know I probably have said it before, but I'm just delighted to have it here in the garden, and it isn't frost hardy, so I'll have to dig it up before the winter. But if you like some cuttings, I'll send you some nice big cuttings. You can get them on the website. And this is a new variety of mint that we've got. It's water mint, it's called. It's got a peculiar flavour, like a smell. I've never smelled anything like it. And I have about 15 varieties of mint. And the wood chips are lovely for the paths. They only need to be renewed once a year. And I just throw a wheelbarrow here and there and rake them out. But look, isn't it lovely to have them? And it keeps your feet dry and clean, especially during the wetter months of the winter. I always enjoy walking around the garden, and it's quiet as well. It's not as noisy as gravel, but please be aware it is not without maintenance. You still get a few weeds settling in eventually. The size of these rhubarb plants here, they're only last year's, so they're only a year old now, 1 year old. They've been planted in late August last year. And that is Glaston's Perpetual, growing absolutely huge here in this no-dig garden. And over here we have a garden that used to be a no-dig garden about 5 years ago. I used to grow tubers here beside the greenhouse. I used to call it the sun garden because it gets the most sunlight. And it's the warmest part of the garden here. But you can see the raspberries are doing really well here in our wood chip no-dig garden. It's actually a lasagna garden because we added the layers. So we had basically a layer of cardboard, then a layer of compost, and now a thick layer of wood chips. And those are breaking down slowly but surely. Take a look. And they will break down eventually. And they'll turn into compost and therefore food for your plants. And the mycelium, of course, the mushrooms help to break them down for the plants. Take a look at that. The raspberries do really well here. They absolutely love it, and they are not complaining about a lack of nitrogen at all here. So we get lots of fruits and we get lots of plants out of it as well. Take a look at this. The American elder likes the lasagna technique too. We've got elderflowers with a vanilla scent from midsummer until the end of October. And I can smell them from here, even from about a meter away. But they also don't grow into a huge tree. They actually just grow into a bush, which makes it really handy for harvesting as well. American elder cuttings are available if you're looking for them. There's still some available there. And the Welsh onion as well. And of course the Egyptian onion. Again, the wood chip layer will reduce maintenance. It doesn't actually make your garden completely maintenance free. As I like to say, you can't stop the weeds, you can only slow them down. While wood chips have definitely helped us out a lot over the years, and we're glad that we found out about them, and we usually only use them on the paths in the first year and in the second year, and in the third year we probably just cover the entire space with the wood chips, the entire growing space that is. Look at this great mullein here. All these plants are doing really well here. If you want to know how to make a no-dig garden, we have a 7-part video series called Starting a No-Dig Garden. I'll put a link at the end of this video. And it's totally free to watch. And if you'd like to know more detail after that, you can avail of our no-dig online workshop, or course I should say, on our website. People often ask me, can you use bark mulch in the garden? Of course you can. If that's all you can get, that's great. The bark is better and more nutritious than the wood, but it'll usually come from a sawmill, and it'll be all the same type of tree. So, and it's expensive too. I would prefer mixed wood chips or branch mulch, the whole tree mulched up with the leaves or the needles if it's a carnivorous tree, and get those from any tree services company or arborist near you. Usually a lot cheaper than the alternative, the bark mulch. and actually more beneficial to the soil life and all of the insects and beetles in your garden. By the way, if you throw wood chips on the ground, it's kind of like an insect hotel. Look at all the little spaces. There's loads of little nooks and crannies for the insects and all of the soil life and even the beetles. So adding insect habitat to your garden will have all kinds of different benefits. Long term, I always like to recommend feed the insects during the growing season by growing as many different flowers as you can. I hope this video was useful to you. Please let me know in the comments below if you have used wood chips in your garden, what your experience is. I'd love to hear from you. And we always like to share our knowledge here among gardeners, and other people that are watching these videos can look at the comments also on whatever platform you may be watching this. Please join us on Rumble and Odyssey. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Please give us a thumbs up if you want to support the channel. And if you want to become a member, please take a look at the members page to find out what the benefits are. Or just get something on our online shop. We'd highly appreciate your support. Thanks. See ya. Bye bye.